Good afternoon. Welcome back to the B&H event space. Today, we welcome back Jean Fruth to the platform. She didn't have to prepare anything this time. We're doing a little 10 images, 10 stories, which is a series that we've been doing to really get behind the mind of the creatives that we love. So this time, it's just nice and easy. We get to look at a couple images. We get to hear any stories, thoughts behind them. Jean, welcome back.
Yeah, this is great. I made sure I threw Yankee Stadium in there for you, just
I, I,
to, I
I
don't
didn't
know.
say anything. I was gonna wait and see because Yankee Stadium aside, I got to be honest. That first image, the splash screen that you guys all saw, it could be any stadium. It's just such an awesome shot. It just helps where it is, and it helps. There's just that. The what is it called along the top?
Yeah, the
The
facade. Yeah,
facade. Yes,
yeah,
it's iconic.
it is.
So
And you don't need to, it doesn't need to say Yankee Stadium. It says Yankee Stadium.
it
Yeah.
doesn't have it. It's just that is Yankee Stadium. When you see the facade, you know it's Yankee Stadium. So, look, I'll dive right in. Let me get my shared screen going here. And I know some of these images are grouped. So, I know this one has a paired image to it, but
I know,
take it
'cause
away on this one. This is one of my favorite images of yours.
it's just to prove. I gave you extra images to prove that photographers make lousy editors. And you say 10 and we got to give you more, right? Because
I'm
we're
glad you
terrible.
did. I'm glad you did.
But yeah, I had there was a method to the madness. Also, I'm glad we're starting with this one because um it's this is for me, like when I think about stories, this when I took this picture, it was an aha moment for me. So I'll just jump right into it. And it was during playoffs. And it was, yeah, ALCS, as you can see. And the game was like a 2 no 3 p.m. start. And Yankee Stadium and playoffs, you get your photo position, you got to stay there. And as I was heading to Yankee Stadium, I thought, man, 3 o'clock start, that's pretty crazy. Like, or 4 o'clock start, whatever it was, but it was like right there. Man, the lights could be really beautiful. I wonder if I can make a special picture. And uh, I got in my photo position, got there early, figured out where I'm going to be, then headed up to the top, and I scouted this position before fans got in. Were let in the stadium, so it's hours before. And in order to make this picture, I'd have to be in a fan seat. And so it'd be tricky, right, to make it with 50,000 people in there or whatever Yankee Stadium holds, a lot of people. So, but I make note of the seat and make note of how to get back down because you don't take the elevators once everybody's in. You got to take stairs to figure it out. The game begins, and sure enough, the light's getting more pretty and more pretty. And it's like, wow, do I do this? Do I make my move? Which, sounds so dramatic, but during playoffs, it's a no-no to leave your photo position. And like, what if I miss a Aaron Judge home run, right? Like what, uh, or two or three, the way he's been hitting, right? So but
Right?
I do it and I make my move and I make my way to the top and I find the seat and I navigate through all the fans and I introduce myself and say, "Hey, would you mind if I take a picture from your seat?" And the guy says, "Oh, yeah, that's so cool. Sure." I said, "I'll be quick. I won't be in your way for long," because I knew before I got there what camera I'm using, what lens I'm using. So I'm going to be fast, right? But I also want to be purposeful. And so the time has to be right. If you see the light up, on the facade or whatever, that's going to go away like right after this, right? It's going to be there and it's going to be gone, right? So it's timing and a moment. So it's planning, 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 and then it only takes really seconds to make the picture. And I make this picture and I'm so excited. And the reason I'm excited is because I made a picture that really nobody else did that day, right? It was something special, something memorable. Now, if I'm working for Getty or I'm working for a wire, well, I can't move, right? Because I have to get every Aaron Judge home run. But for me, I was at the time working for the Baseball Hall of Fame. So my job is to tell the story and record history. Well, this is part of documenting the history of that game is this, bigger stadium shot. So I'm allowed really to like move around. So it's really about risk and reward, and sometimes you take a risk and you get nothing for your risk, going somewhere else, trying to make something different, trying to make something memorable. And after I took this picture and I made, something different, I got so excited. I thought, and oh, the other thing about it is, right, we're in October, right? It's the ALCS, so it's late October, and you can't get this light during regular season. If I was there shooting in April or May, you
Yeah.
don't get this pretty low light. You only get it in October when the Yankees are going to be, in the playoffs. So it requires the Yankees doing well. It requires a game to be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in October. So it's special, and usually playoff games, like who knows, like the Yankees will be in the playoffs. Most of them will be at night. It'll be unusual for it to be a day game, right? Because they want to maximize TV views. And so I get so excited after I make this picture. I'm like, wow, okay, I'm so glad. Risk reward. I go outside the stadium and because I wonder what is it going to look like? What's that low, pretty October light going to look like on the outside of Yankee Stadium?
Were you
And I go
running?
across the street and I make this picture. And it was just to me so cool. And I had to get back inside, go through security with all my gear, make my way down back to the photo position. And everybody's like, where have you been? What happened? Are you okay? And I was more than okay, because then I made a special picture that day.
I
That's
love it. That's why we do this because all those little nuances to the photo. Yeah, there's the whole picture says 1,000 words, and you don't need words to go with the picture. But all the little stuff that you don't know, even me living up the block from Yankee Stadium and being a diehard Yankee fan, I didn't put all the little pieces together. Like, yeah, you know what? You do need the Yankees to make a run. And the image being in the ALCS, if, as you know, that atmosphere, that's kind of something that you take out of the image. You're not just a photographer telling the story for other people. That's an image that you're capturing for yourself, for you to remember that moment. And with that electric atmosphere, the light, the little light on the facade, it's funny when you think about how much the image would be changed if you don't have the little kiss of the sunlight on the facade and that little strip of, warm sunset on the horizon to contrast with the blue in the sky. It's like those little things like that, the time of year. The time of year has to be right, but then if your team's not playing that time of year, you can't do it. Even the full stadium, I think. You take that with a half full stadium, it doesn't look the same. With an empty stadium, it doesn't deliver the
definitely does
same.
not look the same with, when you have empty seats, or sometimes you have empty seats right in front of, behind home plate at Yankee Stadium. And it's a different picture when you have every seat filled and you feel the energy in the picture. And when you make an effort to make a picture like that, every detail matters. So yeah, getting the light right, wanting the light on the facade. And I continued to shoot because I ended up making a buddy, that guy who said he's still my Facebook friend today, like
That's
years,
great.
years later. But it was and then the light went away and it was a different picture, and it was like,
Yeah.
okay, it's gone. I'm gone. It's gone. Let me go outside and see if there's something else out happening out there. And that, and just I didn't make the picture when the Yankees are walking off the field or in between innings. Like when you make a picture like this, whether whatever sport it is, you want it all to be right on the field. You don't want an in-between moment. You want everybody down and set. You want the batter in the batter's box, the pitcher pitching. If it's a football picture, you want them all lined up. You want to make a picture. So you're looking around, even what's on the scoreboard, like matters. And so you want to look at all those details and make a picture. So
Love that.
story. Okay, so
This
I
is
put this in here just because as photographers, we also like have to remember to be in the moment. And like you said, you make something for yourself. Like to me, this picture is our cameras really take us to places, or it opens doors for us that wouldn't be open. Because of my camera, I've been to places I'd never would have gone to. And I got to meet people I would have never met before. And shooting Will Ferrell during this documentary, not documentary, or series that he made of Will Ferrell Takes the Field. And he played 10 different positions in one day at five different ballparks during spring training, during live games. And in this one, he kept getting traded like at the end of an inning. So, he played, for each team, and he became a White Sox, and he had to get to the White Sox game, and he landed in the outfield by helicopter, which was just, hilarious. And the reason I included it is for us to remember that we also get these special moments. Sometimes it's not like an incredible picture, or maybe it's not a portfolio shot for you, but it's memories. And that is part of being a photographer, is the access, or the moment, or the people that you meet, and remembering to be in the moment. And I say it because I don't always do it myself. I get so wound up in my project and what I have to shoot and what I got to do. And it's like, wait a minute. I'm in the Dominican Republic right now on a baseball field. I'm in Uganda, like meeting people who I would never meet otherwise. Stop for a second and be grateful, and more than grateful, enjoy what you're doing and enjoy the memories. And this, following Will Ferrell around for an entire day from early in the morning to late at night, and just basically laughing my ass off like for the entire time, while he did what he does so well, is a memory I'll never forget. And it's one of the reasons why I'm grateful to do what I do.
That's so awesome. And I think that's such great advice to be in the moment. I think so many people, whether they're photographing just a small event or whether they're photographing celebrities and athletes, it's like you get caught up, and then you think back, and it's like not only does it affect your photos, but it affects you don't if you get caught up in the moment and you don't enjoy it, half the time it's going to affect your photos because you're not, sitting there short circuiting, and then you don't even have a good memory of it either because you're too busy focused on that.
Yeah, I'm mentoring a young man. His name is Scott, and he was shooting his first Giants game the other day. Maybe he's listening. And so he's finally at the San Francisco Giants. And I'm so happy for him. He takes a picture of, his photo position. I'm like, oh, right on. Go make some pictures. Have a great time. And then he's like texting me, and I'm looking at the score to see what inning he's in, and oh, he wants to impress people, and make a good impression, and he's going to do all of that because he cares so much. And I texted him back. I go, number one, you belong there, so please relax and breathe. And number two, like, stop texting me and enjoy it, and just enjoy that you're doing it right now. Like, don't forget. And it's, you don't want to be so wound up that you're not enjoying what you're doing. I mean, we get to do this, like, you get to do these cool things. Like, if you're not enjoying it and you're just so worried or wound up, why are we doing it?
Oh yeah, I agree. Love the action
Ah,
shots.
yeah, so for all the people who are shooting the grassroots game, whether it's football or soccer or whatever you're shooting, and like, I shot this through a fence, and I just want to say, like, right, the cameras that we have now, look at the sharpness of
Easy.
that. Okay, it was through a fence. I was not on the field behind these kids, like crouching down. Like, I was like, oh, what access you have? Like, no, I have the access like that every parent had, right? Like,
What
just
lens were you using?
it was a 70 to 200.
7200.
Yeah, A1 70 to 200. So right as fast as heck, he's coming in. I mean, I have the whole series obviously of coming in, but the foot and the dirt was just hilarious, and the autofocus catching, shooting through a fence, and it's, tack sharp. So
I
anyway,
love it.
I'm grateful for the gear shot, right? Shooting to make a picture like that.
You got to pay homage to how much easier it is now than back in the day, and just everything about it, the composition, the coaches in the background, they got the gators up, so it's like little stuff like that. It's always the details for me that it cements this in history, where you don't even need to know exactly when you see the gators pulled up, and you're like, okay, I know it was that era. I know it was
Right.
COVID era baseball.
Crazy. Yeah, yeah.
It's
That's true.
wild.
Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, and just, and yes, I'm glad that we have the gear that we have. I do not want to go back to the days of old.
Come
I,
on.
I want our
Don't.
modern gear.
I have to teach a bunch of 7 to 11-year-olds to slide tonight. So I saw that when I was in preparation, just doing my last run through the images. I'm going through and I'm like, I'm gonna enjoy looking at this and not having to worry about screaming at kids teaching it.
Oh, you're going to teach them how to slide
I
tonight?
gotta teach my kids how to slide tonight. We had a game on Saturday and
You weren't sliding.
they're running into third base when the throw's coming down. We had a kid
I
get tagged out. So
I had a kid who was really, because I coached for a long time, young kids. And it's amazing how kids will slide down like a hill, that's rocky
uh,
and messy and whatever, and they don't think anything of it. And then they're afraid to slide on beautiful baseball dirt. And it's like, so I take my kids and I find a hill, or I did, and I have them sliding down a hill and practicing there. And it's like, okay, if you're willing to do that, like sliding should be nothing. And then it becomes really fun, have a sliding contest. Sliding's fun.
sliding is
Yeah.
fun. You're right though. They'll slide anywhere, like they'll take any chance to get dirty except when it's sliding into a base. The one time you should do it.
Yeah. It's like this dirt's nice and cushy compared to whatever hill you get them to slide
Yeah,
down.
seriously.
That's all I got. So this is about passion. So I got a few of these, and it's about capturing the moment, right? Capturing like the
I'll do a
peak.
quick
Exactly.
summary.
Right. All three. So, and if you go back to the first one, there's so many like celebration shots that I feel like can be, I don't know, maybe staged. Everybody loves the camera now, so you get a lot of peace signs, you get a lot of mugging for the camera. And, I understand those shots and you have to take them. If somebody's, mugging for the camera, you want to take the picture and they want that picture, that's great. But the real emotion, the real like moment is quick, and those moments are few and far between. That very moment of a play or an emotion or a real scream is very different than somebody who's mugging for a camera, and just knowing the difference and wanting those real emotional moments. So that one, the next one, the pure joy of capturing like just a very pure moment is just different than when she comes back and she sees my camera maybe and she's doing something else. This, she's not aware of anything in the world but her pure joy. And as photographers, when we can capture that, it looks different and it's special. And then I go to the next one and I always say, like, what about the losing team? And I feel like some of
Ooh.
my favorite shots of at the end of a game or emotional shots is the losing team. And it's harder to do, to go over to, especially if you're shooting kids and high school. But like I know you're an athlete, and if you think about like that very last moment that, your very last game, and okay, I'm playing baseball, I'm playing high school baseball. I know I'm not going to go on to play college baseball. I'm in the championships or whatever, and it's their last game, and then they lose their last game, and the emotion that those kids have, or in this case, this team, right, is their very last game, they might not even qualify for World Cup, World Baseball Series, but they ended up qualifying. And so Colombia, they and they have so much going on at home and everything that's going on. And I shot this with a wide angle, and is it, it's hard to come up to a player like that who's crying, but that player cares the most. And so I always say, don't forget the losing team. We have so much celebration. And it goes back to that first shot at Yankee Stadium. Can you make something different? Maybe you'll get nothing, but risk reward, run over to the losing team and say, okay, and you got to commit to it, because it's hard to do both, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, instead of shooting the celebration, I'm going to actually run over to the losing team and I'm going to try to make a different picture. So
I
that's my
didn't think about that. The wide angle, you're right up on him. It can that be intimidating, even
very.
as comfortable as you are?
Yeah, I mean, it's I was lucky enough to learn from the Oakland A's photographer a long time, where he was always a wide angle shooter right in front of people's faces, and I just thought that's the way you shot baseball. It's like, oh, that's what you do, but it was only at the Oakland Coliseum. If you like do that and go in front of the dugout at Yankee Stadium, you get taken out in handcuffs. But uh but I learned that way, and approaching the subject. And so, he didn't even, I mean, did he know I was there? But no, he was busy with what he was doing, and I wasn't there that long, and you see like one player's looking over at me going, why is she there doing that, but it's a moment, and that player actually reached out to me and asked me for those photos, and then I stepped back and I shot with the 70 to 200 a little bit more, because then he had some hugs and whatever, and I shot that a little bit wider. Not wider, I shot it a little further away, but actually shot it tighter with the 70 to 200 where you could really see his face and the hugs. But the wide angle, and really the wide angle is a different look, it's a very intimate look that you can't get with a telephoto lens.
Definitely. Real quick before we go on to the next image, I just want to go back to something you had said when early on. Let's see. Let's go back to that. Where are we? First one here. And you were talking about, like this one, it is that raw emotion. And you had talked about how, everyone's aware of the camera now. Everybody wants to put on for the camera. Is that something that factors in, like, as you're working a game? Are you kind of taking like a mental note of who's really lost in the moment? If I need that moment where somebody's lost into it, this person's super emotional. They don't care about the camera. If I want that staged moment, or I want something, all right, this person's a character they keep putting on for the camera. If I want genuine, I stay away. If I want to go and have something a little more, I don't mind something kitschy and staged. I'm going to go there. Are you kind of mentally banking all that stuff during the game?
All the time, Derek. You're like right on when I'm shooting a game, whether it's Major League Baseball or it's little kids on a field, it's all the same. You see, who your characters are, who is going to give you what you're looking for in pictures. And it's funny because like I'll walk out of like as I was shooting for my book and my project, you're naturally drawn to those people. And then you walk away and like I'll laugh and I'm like, wow, I've got all these pictures of her, but why? There's a reason why, right? Probably because she was the most athletic. She was the most demonstrative. She had the most passion. She wanted to win. So you get drawn to those, and that's what you should be looking for, right? As part of telling the story. You want the people who are going to give you the story and give you the pictures. And so paying attention to that is definitely part of our job. And as the game unfolds, and it doesn't take that long. If you get there pre-game, you kind of see the ones who have game, like you're going to go tonight to and the kids, obviously, so it's different. But the one who's going to celebrate, the one who's going to be funny, the one who's going to, like you say, give you the kitschy. So whatever it is you're looking for, summing up quickly and seeing who you have and what they're doing. And, you'll it's part of being able to tell the story. And then now, okay, the game is ending. Okay, I want her. I want to back to her because she's going to probably give me something. At the end of this game, she's going to be the one that leaps up or high fives or pumps her fists or runs in, but she's going to do something. Maybe she won't, but it's your best bet, right? So you get in position. Okay, she's out, she's shortstop or she's in the outfield, and you move yourself around to be in the best position to get her when that game is ending. And so I'm thinking about that too. What do I want as this game, ends? And I go back to that person that I'm already dialed in with.
Interesting. It all makes perfect sense.
So
I
yeah,
love
this
this.
is so fun. Sometimes you just never know what's going to happen when you go to a game, when you go to a ballpark, and this was in South Korea, and it was a tournament, a multi-day tournament, and I got there early, and the entire game was the entire was filled with snow, and I ended up making some really pretty pictures before the players got there, like overheads and just really like stunning photos like that you just don't get a baseball field that's so pristine filled with snow. But then when the players came, they had so much fun. They had to clear the field, but getting them playing baseball with snowballs is, and again, it's like going back to like what we love about photography when you can, take something. I shoot baseball for so long, so many years, but I've never made a picture like this before. And so there's still things, right, to look forward to. And when you have a moment like that, something special you can get, go away from everything else and go get the something special. Like the other stuff will be there, go chase that. So that was one of those moments, and I'm just grateful to be able to have a new picture.
Super cool photo. Two division rivals here. I'm neutrally not liking either of the teams, but great shot. You have the all the emotion here. What was this moment?
Yeah, this is fun, and it's kind of like, what are you looking for as you're shooting a game like this? And it's kind of interesting for me because it kind of goes back to, um, okay, we have two teams, we have a tie score. Now, if you know the game, right, you know, okay, if it's the end of the inning, the home team, if they win, right, if they score, it's going to be a walk-off. If the other team scores, then there's still a chance that the home team can come back. So it's two different shots that you're going for. So I put it in there just because I thought it was like interesting, remembering going back and forth between lenses for this shot. So when the Orioles are up, right, they're not the home team. So if they score, I'm shooting it tight. I'm shooting for action. One, because they're not the home team, so the game's not going to be over. And two, we don't care about the fans because they're at Blue Jays, right? So there's not a bunch of Oriole fans. So if they do score, the fans aren't going to matter. They're just going to be sitting there dead. So we want tight, tight, tight action. So I just keep switching 400 when the Orioles are up, 70 to 200 when the Blue Jays are up. And it's going extra innings, extra innings, extra innings, right? This game was going on forever. We didn't have a man on second at the time. It's an older photo. But it's still, I would do the same thing today. So I'm shooting, and it's fun to think about the more you know the game, the more you know you want to capture, the more consistently you're going to make a picture. So I was tight on Orioles, 400. Okay, now I'm loose. I'm back to the 7,200. And you don't know what's going to happen, but what happened was great. So you work hard for your luck. And he hits this, grand slam. It's like absolutely insane. And he puts his hands up, and all the fans put their hands up. Now, had I been shooting this with the 400, I would have not captured any of that. And I would have captured, who they were playing against. So shooting this wide made all the sense in the world. So it just took going back and forth between your gear, back and forth between your lenses to, capture the moment, the right moment. So, it's thinking about all of that as you're capturing. So that's why I put the picture in. I think it's just a fun story of, and then this one, of course, paid off because I didn't know that all the fans were going to do that, but I was ready for something.
Like you even between the batter and the catcher, you have the players coming out. So it's like just everything there. The catcher turned away. The umpire's just kind of standing there. They're indifferent. The fans obviously like all facing where the ball went out. And then just a little like the bat, just the position of where the bat is just so cool. Like, and it's the little moments, when you're going through, because obviously a moment like this with technology, you're ripping off however many frames a second. You got we're using, was this pre A1, I'm guessing?
Yeah, pre-A1.
Pre A1.
Right, but yeah, but you're still shooting
You're
however
still,
many frames per second, and you're choosing the right one, but this just happened because you're right, the bat hasn't hit the floor yet. And it's just right. It's all of those moments and how you want to frame and compose it and what you're capturing. And the idea is, if can one picture tell a story, and does this need a caption? Like it doesn't, right? So, and that's storytelling. So can you give me one picture where I don't need a caption and I know what's happening here? And you look at this and say, okay, we know who won, we know where we are, we know what happened, and we know something grand has happened, right? Because of the celebration and everybody's arms. So yeah, it's a fun moment. And then it's all just planning, 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 right? It's really not that hard to do. It's just
you know
constantly.
what's you know what's coming at you, or at least what your options are. I like how you broke it down. Even just knowing home team versus away team, walk off versus, okay, if we could hit a home run right here and it's only going to give us the lead, they still get last licks. Just knowing that, all that situational awareness that somebody might come in and be like, oh well, I don't want to get the fans in, or like you said, if it's too zoomed in, if you have the 400, the fans are too out of focus, it's too compressed, it's too much about the batter that you lose everything else that really adds the power to the moment.
right? It's what is our background? What is our, do we want a sense of place or do we not want a sense of place? And in this case, we certainly do. When the Orioles up, we didn't. And that's like, right, any sport, anything that you're shooting, you can apply that same idea. And so just not being also complacent and saying, okay, I've got my 400, I'm a sports photographer. I've got my cargo shorts and I'm gonna shoot my game with my big 400 lens. Like not always, you don't, that's not, there's other pictures to be made with different lenses and wider lenses and reasons for it. So the 400 is great and it's pretty, no doubt, but um certainly switching back and forth and thinking about, is there another picture to be made with a wider lens? And I always try to, like during a game, try to capture something else, something a little bit wider. Even if you're telling the story of one player, it's boring
Mm,
if you're just shooting it with one lens. It's just not the same as, mixing it up and having different perspectives.
totally. Back overseas for these next three, I'll just brush through real quick and then come back to the first one. But I love your scoreboard shots there. And this is just there's something so cool. I love the ingenuity of overseas baseball, just overseas sports in general, just making it happen.
Yeah, and and it's like it's details, right? What else is going on besides what's happening on the field? What else is going on in soccer besides the soccer itself or whatever sport? And it's paying attention to details and like what else is happening, what else is interesting. And scoreboards, yeah, I like scoreboards. I mean, and of course, these kind of scoreboards I love. So I see the scoreboard. Oh, the scoreboard, that's a cool scoreboard. So I'm looking at it every once in a while. And then sure enough, I see the guy come out and he's putting this, I'm like, oh, I like him. He's good. And then I'm waiting and I'm watching him. I'm not watching him every moment, but then he came out, and it's all like we're making art, right? It's about framing and composing and shapes and patterns and colors and all of those things matter. It's not just sports photography and capturing action. It's what's the relation? This would be a completely different picture if we were in the first inning and it was just 2-0, and he was there. It would not be, to me, as interesting a picture. It was great that it's the fifth inning and the five is missing. I love that, and I love that there's nothing on top. And just where he popped out to look, he was coming out in different places and moving around. But that was the right one, and that's the decision we make as an artist. Like, okay, this feels right, this feels good. And you have time to make it. You're watching. No, it's not right. No, it's not right. That's right. Look at him. I mean, and he wore the yellow shirt, like, so it all worked. Maybe if he was in a gray shirt or a black shirt, it wouldn't be a picture. It would be a different, something else, maybe something not worth showing here at the B&H event space.
I know, it's just the little details. That yellow shirt, it just makes it is what it is. And the framing, like it's just everything about it. I love it.
Yeah, and thank you. Yeah, and then I just put this in as a B, B thing. So I'm always like looking for these, and it's just something, as you talk to other photographers or photographers that are coming up, is have a look around and like, pay attention to your surroundings. So this one not as good, but now the other one I saw, that's my replacement when I'm teaching. So I won't use this one anymore, but I used to use this one as the upside down three. So he put the three upside down. And to me, that was, I don't know, I'm a baseball nut, right? So I found that enjoyable and, use that shot for a long time to tell a story. And it's just paying attention, right? Just paying attention to the details. And is there another picture to be made? So, but yeah, now I like the Cuba one better than this one for sure now. So I'll use that one. This one's been replaced. It's the
Yeah, that
last.
one, that's gonna be hard to top that
Yeah, so
first one.
that's
I don't know if
well,
you
but
could.
I'll keep looking and I'll look at the scoreboards again or I'll look at something else. And then the third one in the series, again, it's about details and noticing something else, chalking the lines. And it's great because it ended up being a women's baseball game. And he's chalking the lines with this, I think it was a wine brand or something, but this shirtless guy with all the muscles, all these details. And when you're taking, I was making the book. So scale kind of matters, right? So when I'm shooting details, I like to shoot details like tight, 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 And so if you're telling a story and you have a big wide stadium shot like we just looked at, we had an action shot that was wider, an action shot that's tighter. So you're changing up the scale because we want the viewer to stay interested and not fall asleep, right? So this also breaks up if you're just showing action, action, action. Oh, this is something different, right? A detail. And there's details in every sport that are interesting. This one, of course, you can chalk the lines with a modern day chalker, and it's not the same as this guy, doing his thing with this. So I loved this because of that. So yeah, this is now my new detail shot, for example. So there
It's
it is.
so good. Everything, just like the feet in the frame, the way the 1 foot's lifted. It's like, are you just like holding your camera down? Like, what are you just zoomed in waiting, or is it?
Cameras on the ground in the dirt, right? Because we have to be able to flip the screen out. And I love that. Yes, I still lay in dirt. There's no doubt I lay in dirt because there is difference holding it for me and viewing it. So lots of times I will be on the ground. But in this case, I wasn't laying on the ground. I just had, and it's easier now than it's ever been before because of the autofocus and the screen. So I can see it and I can easily hit the subject that I want. And so laying it on the ground, and I've got a 70 to 200, and he's coming towards me, and I'm zooming in and out and tighter and looser, and I'm shooting it and shooting it and shooting it and shooting it. And there was shadow and there was sun. So I want the moment where he's just getting into the light. So I'm looking for it, looking for it, looking for it. And then you pick one, you choose one. So
So
uh
good.
yeah.
So good. I mean, and everything I think had to be right. It's so easy for just one thing not to go right, or you don't get the spray of the powder and just the granular, like you can see the granular nature of the powder, or if there was more light on him and it didn't just pop. It's like that perfect moment where it comes into the sun, everything's just right. It's that serendipity all together, and you just grab
Yeah.
the moment.
Yeah. And and to take the mystique out of it, it's not like, whoa, look at her. Like she just picked that perfect moment and she hit it and she made it. No, like I didn't. And that's, putting the camera on the ground, looking at the light. He chalked both sides. I knew he was going to chalk both sides. The other side was in shade, so that wasn't an option. So
Mm.
I knew it was going to blur my background. So you don't see anything but the detail. But because behind there was dark, the other side was dark, he was going to walk from shade into light. I knew what he was going to do. So it's all just planning. And then I'm just shooting it, shooting it, shooting it, shooting it. You can delete them later. It takes a minute, right?
Yeah.
So shoot the heck out of something like that on the ground and then find the one where the perfect one. So I'd love to say, yes, I waited and then it happened and I knew and I took one, I had it on one, I didn't have a burst and I made the picture. But we know we didn't, and that's why we have great cameras. So I love that I shot the heck out of this and I didn't keep a whole bunch of other ones. I deleted them and I kept this one. Yeah.
Love it. New photographers take notes. That's 2 images thus far where the light really took the image to the next level.
And so this is my fun kind of example of watching your backgrounds. And I say it, this is like a fun moment, but this is at Oracle Park and anybody, can make this picture. Like I know the car is there, but every time I'd shoot there, I'd know like, oh, I'd love to get a play there, So I know I see the background and that's wherever we're shooting, we should be looking at our backgrounds before the game even starts, before the match even starts, and purposely choosing, right, maybe where we would like a picture to happen. So that's different than just sitting down and you're sitting there and you're shooting and you're getting great action, but you have a porta potty behind you the whole time. Well, you're going to be disappointed when you go home and you see all those great action shots with that porta potty behind. That's a bummer, right? Or a big garbage pail or something. And sometimes, yeah, I'll get up and I'll move the garbage pail. The porta potty's too heavy, you can't move it. So you got to move. But sometimes backgrounds are really cool and they show a sense of place. Maybe it's a fabulous building. I was just at my friend's son's Little League game, and it was a big cityscape. And it's like, wow, that's cool. Like, so where can I shoot from and have that background and let that make your decision for you? And maybe you have to wait to make a picture there with that background. But then again, we're going back to something special, right? Not 200 mediocre ones. Okay, one. I'm trying to make one special one. So this one is, a fun one because I wanted the car and Hunter Pence, it was at the end of his career too. So he was really happy to have it. And yeah, and so it made a fun picture. But the idea is chasing that background and trying to make something special. And then I have a B one of this too. I think that's after that. And
Okay.
it's the same idea, right? This was in the Midwest somewhere along Route 66. And it was luck is everywhere, but then there was also like right where he is like it's a lotto thing or something. Luck is it's a gambling, the betting, like scratch offs or whatever. Luck is everywhere. So I didn't want that part. I just wanted the luck is everywhere. And I shot pregame with them, with the pitcher was throwing out there, and I just kept trying to make something with luck. I got obsessed with it. I don't even know why, but okay, I want a luck is everywhere picture. And I worked very hard for my luck. And this was the best one. It would have been better if we saw his face, but that wasn't going to happen because he was rounding. But he hit a home run. And there was another home run, but it didn't work out that well. It didn't look good as he was rounding the bases. I tried to get action shots from there. It didn't work. And I made this one. But I liked his arms. I like his red gloves. The framing worked out well. But again, it's not like there was no luck I mean, there was a little luck, but it was just determination of I'm going to make a picture with this background.
I love it. You've made it so hard for me to coach, by the way, Gene. Every game, and I still play. I play in a league, and it was funny you're talking about, with like the shot with the backdrop and everything. And I show up to my game last Friday, and it was a big bright moon, and I
Oh,
was playing at 54th and 11th. So you have like Midtown New York, and I feel like it's one of those like video games where in the video games they don't put New like they'll have the Statue of Liberty next to like the Empire State
yeah.
Building, and
Yeah.
it makes like this like faux super New York composition there or composite. And now it's like I go to coach and I go to play, and I see all of this stuff from looking at your images and listening to you talk about your images, and I'm just like, I just want to have my camera.
Right. Yeah.
Like it, it
You're
it
in
gets you
it.
so into it.
Right. Yeah. You're going to have to make a decision. Step off the field.
Retiring.
I
I'm
don't think you could do
retiring.
both. You can't. Yeah. You're going to have to
Nah.
not play.
I've thought about it and I'm like, no, there's no I'm gonna be in the coaching first base with the camera in my hand.
That would be good. Yeah. Yeah, you can't do both. You're gonna have to
It's
turn
hard.
over the reins. Yeah. But yeah, when you
I
have
love it.
backgrounds like that and moons and cityscape, you just want to shoot it.
What
Yeah.
before we go into this image, while we're on the topic, there has to be at least one bucket list photo out there that you have that you still have to tackle, something that you would love, even if it's like a you need all the stars to align photo to come together. Is there anything that you've had your in the back of your mind?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think, definitely just, more travel, like places I haven't been with, I look at like this past Olympics and all of these great shots, and so more of that sense of place. I mean, the, what was it, the volleyball that had the Eiffel Tower behind it? It's like, my
Mm,
God, like that's so
yeah.
great. So more pictures like that, maybe not a specific moment, but those
Okay.
kind of grand sense of place pictures, and the Olympics is really like always brings me back to thinking about it in that way of that's the kind of shot when, the next trip that you want to say, okay, like I want to make something like that. But it's hard, like the Olympics, it's all set up for you because the venue is there and um
Does
but
that
those
take a certain something away from it? Because it's like part of it is the journey, the fun, the like you're building these relationships, you're finding the locations, you're getting these shots. It's not
right.
just like handed to
Not
you
a
on a silver
stage, it's
platter.
not set up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a little harder to do though.
Yeah.
Somebody set it up for me. I just show up.
Let's get if we're gonna outsource Ira, that Ira's gonna be he'll be your fixer, your setter upper.
Oh, it would be really cool to go to Cuba with Ira and do something there. I mean, I'm going back there for,
Totally.
yeah.
Have you thought about like that? It would be so cool, like because now every time I watch the Little League World Series, I think we're so close to the Caribbean. It's right there. seems like 70% of the major leaguers are from the Caribbean. And then you watch the Little League World Series and you're like Chinese Taipei and some of these countries, and then you're seeing some of these other countries start to come up and be more competitive. Have you thought about taking your talents over to the Far East and capturing the baseball culture over there, or
Oh
exploring
yeah.
other areas?
I mean, even just shooting for the women's project that I'm doing, I was in Japan and I was in South Korea, and there's so much, I was making a film, so it was limited like with time. But oh, just to go back there and wander with my camera and be able to, yeah, Chinese Taipei, the baseball there is crazy. South Korea, I mean, all of these countries, yeah, doing, telling a story. Um, uh, and at that youngest level is pretty amazing. The
Yeah,
kids coming up, and when you see the Little League World Series, those kids from Chinese Taipei, my God,
they're
they're yeah,
insane.
right.
So
And it's great pictures because this the culturally it just looks so different. Even like when you're watching them play, just all the cultural differences as they're playing is interesting. So leaving Williamsport and going to where they are, would be fascinating.
totally, totally. Well, that perfect lead up to World Baseball Classic, always a fun event.
Yeah, the Japanese win again and win again. Same for the women. The Japanese just won again. I was shooting. They won the gold. They're just incredibly disciplined, and just and this moment um, is kind of a problem-solving moment for me. So it was in Miami, and I was shooting on the concourse. Otani, the game ended with Otani pitching to the Angels, a Trout, right? Mike Trout.
Mhm.
So like they're the two legends, right? They're playing against each other. It was this what an ending. It was like scripted by Major League
Right?
Baseball. Gone better for everybody. It was just so good. And the game ends, and it's like, okay, I had my plan. So it's about plan, plan, plan. And I know it sounds so boring, but that's it works for me, is having a plan. So getting rid of my 400 at the end of that game off of Otani, shoot the celebration. Now I got to get on the field to get the trophy and everything that's going to happen, the ceremony of Otani and Japan getting their trophy. Tuck the 400 away. I've got a 70 to 200 and a wide angle. So two bodies, one on each shoulder. I go into the gate to get on the field, show my credential, and they say, "Oh no, you can't be on the field for this." I go, "Oh no, no, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Whatever it was, I had something wrong. I don't even know
Oh
what it was.
no.
I did miss a meeting. So something went wrong. You don't have the right color. So what am I going to do? Am I going to continue to argue with the security guard? No, right? We all have a job to do. He's just doing his job, and I'm not going to get anywhere with that. I'm also going to miss the ceremony if I keep having this conversation. So I've got to pivot really quick. I run back up to the top of the stadium steps, and I have my 400 hidden under, like in this place. So I run, I get the 400 out, tuck the wide angle away. Now I go back down the stairs and I center myself with all of these fans. And it was like a whole group of Japanese fans because they're watching their team now get the medal. And luckily they let me squeeze in, and I've got a 400 and I'm squeezing in. I took the hood off to be as small as possible, center myself, and I get everything like through the fence and in a beautiful way, right? I get the stage, and it was kind of cool because if I'd been right there against the stage, being my size and shooting up, you're almost like they're too high and you're kind of shooting up their noses a little bit too much. Like it's not a great angle. You're just getting the roof, and it's a closed dome stadium, so nothing pretty, no sky. But now I'm shooting more straight on because I'm in the stands and I get a beautiful background, get the ceremony. Now they're in this huddle and I'm stuck, okay. And I'm just waiting to get more Otani, right? And I'm looking for Otani, looking for Otani. And out of this huddle, the manager comes flying up into the air and I'm just right on it on accident because I'm just looking for Otani. And I make this picture and I make a picture, and it was just accidental. And it was because I couldn't get in to where I wanted to be. And if you look at all the photographers, and I'm smaller than all of them, But look how they're throwing their camera up in the air, right? Trying to make something, and I do that all the time, throw my camera up. And when you're my size, it's very seldom you get good results.
I was gonna say, how often you see it all the time? It's like it always hits me on after baseball or football games because everyone comes on the field and you'll have like it'll be like Jim Harbaugh's first game coaching back in the NFL and they're just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
looking down
The
at the
Hail
ground, just holding it
Mary.
up.
Yeah, so you do your Hail Mary, but for me, I'm doing that and it just makes me the average size of the photographer. I'm like, I'm getting nothing, I need another plan always for that. So I try to do all kinds of things. Ladders are good in my life. I like ladders, but it's hard to carry a ladder on the field at the end of the game.
Yeah,
It's been done.
ingenuity. You work smarter, not harder, and this image is a perfect testament to that.
Is like this background that they had set up, and if you're shooting right against it, you can't get that background. And just the whole thing, this became just a favorite picture of mine. And I think it's like, okay, what's the moral of the story? It's pivot. When you have a problem, you got to go into problem solving mode. Complaining and arguing or like having an issue, you're just going to miss it. You're just going to you have to go into like become part of the solution, and who can help you solve it and solve it quick, but come up with plan B. And when you're organized, plan B makes it easier because you're calm and okay, I know what I'm going to shoot. Like I already knew, like I want to shoot Otani at the end of the game. Okay, who's going to win? What do I want to capture? I got to capture the ceremony. I got to capture the trophy. I want to capture this player or that player. So I already know everything I want to get. So I'm not in a panic for that. Okay, this happened to me. I'm locked out. I still have the same shooting list in my mind. So now it's pivot, find a position, and still try to work your plan as best you can. And then the bonus picture came out of it, and it was my favorite picture of the World Baseball Classic for the whole thing was this moment. So
I love it. That's so badass. There's nothing boring about being prepared.
prepared is
That's
yeah.
it. Gotta have the plan.
So this is my new project, Women in Baseball, and this is in Uganda. And certainly going to places like as exotic as this and shooting baseball, and these women are and girls, they have no gear. They're playing barefoot, but they're playing great baseball. There's 8 regions in Uganda where women are playing baseball, which is pretty amazing. And this woman was wearing a Chanel dress. And so somehow like clothing got to Uganda in some crazy way. And I was like, whoa. And they dress absolutely beautifully, like there, like, their appearance, their dress, their hair, like is really important. So it's like, and they take great pride like in all of that. And I didn't know what to expect going to Uganda, and then seeing that and how amazing that was and how they looked and just how they welcomed us, to their country. And then just these women playing, and this is a game called, this was women who haven't played the game before. They were introducing it to new regions, and just her joy of playing and catching for the first time. And what she was wearing didn't matter to her like one bit. That's just what she was wearing. And so having, this moment of just pure joy and the sky and her face. And so since this is 10 favorite images, this is now one of mine. So you'll see it in my new book.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait. Are you laying on your back here? N-
Oh no, I'm just way down low.
Okay.
I'm laying on my tummy. Yeah, I was laying
Okay.
on my tummy. Yeah, so I'm laying. Yeah, I am laying down here. Yes.
Okay. I'm like, I love the angle. Anything for the shot. This is I feel like I'm saying it all your images. They're all my favorites, but it's like with every single one, they're all so different, but yet they all tell a similar story. And there's so much passion and just love it.
This image, was one of my first trips. No, not one of my first trips, but a trip to Cuba and shooting, just street ball. And this, as Ira, can attest to, there's baseball everywhere you go, everywhere you look. And just this moment again, like a picture that doesn't need a caption. We know where we are. we know what's happening, and just the moment, and it all matters. The car, the colors, the ball coming off the bat, and just all of those details. And the feet are there, just that you can't see it because of the way it's cropped here at in this screen. But I promise you, I didn't cut the feet off. Do not cut feet off. So
Yeah, don't cut the feet off.
do
Yeah, I don't know
not, the
why
kids'
it's
feet
not
are there, but you
let's
can
see.
zoom
Is it
out. Let's see
gonna
if we
does it
can do
have to reset? No,
it.
it's
Doesn't
something
matter.
with the
I
share screen.
promise.
Yes, the feet are there. I can attest to it.
Oh, yeah. I actually I could show you because I
There
happen to
you
have
go.
the book.
There it is. Oh, I love that.
There's the feet.
The internet would never it'd be the new scandal of the internet now.
Yeah, but that's okay. Um, but the fun thing about this is when I made this picture, it's like this is the cover to my book. I didn't even have a book yet. It wasn't. It was if I have a book, when I have a book, if I'm going to make a book, I want this to be my cover. So I always say I shot my cover before I even knew I had a book. It became my favorite. It's still my favorite. And people ask me, and then eventually I did make my first book. And that's certainly, and everybody said, well, what's your cover going to be? The art director said, let's start looking at covers. Like, oh, there's nothing to look at.
You have
I
it
already
picked
have
out.
the cover. You can make the rest of the book, but I have the cover. So,
I
yeah.
love that. Speaking of books,
Well, and then
another
the
one
funny
here.
thing was, is like, so then the next book comes along and I make it. And a good friend of mine says, oh, so now you're 2 for 2 with vehicles on your covers. And I never even thought about
Oh,
that.
wait, yeah.
And
And
then I
it's
thought, yeah, so now I have to
yeah.
not have a vehicle on the third. Oh my God. Okay, I don't want to be known for putting vehicles.
You got to stick with it.
I didn't even think about it when I did this, but this was very Route 66. So that's why I included this, is that I thought, it's kind of fun that I went 2 for 2 with a vehicle. And it wasn't on purpose, but it worked out that way.
And it's like classic cars too. So now you gotta hunt down a third classic car.
No, no, I'm not.
Gotta
No,
be
no,
no more.
no, not well, not forever, but I've got a woman catcher from Uganda going on the cover of the new book, See Her, Be Her. So yeah, and
Nice.
she's pretty amazing. So she'll be the cover.
When are the new projects? Do you have dates for them or
Yeah, October. So the book will be out in, I guess now it's like weeks, around the second week of, well, a month, second week of October, it'll be out. I'll bring one over
awesome?
to you.
I appreciate that.
Head
That's
over
got
to
to be so
B&H, head over to
exciting. I know
B&H and deliver one.
you've been putting in so much work with all the projects. I know it's like you're in the home stretch. You can finally almost breathe a little easier.
It's crazy. It's fun. Yeah. Like, making the film and the book at the same time, and it all came together at the same time. And just working side by side in those two, like, very different. But I learned a lot about how the two come together. We'll even like talk about that, how like making a book and a film, and just the different things you look for and how you shoot differently, and really fun experience. Yeah.
Totally. And what better way to end it than a photographer slash Hall of Fame pitcher? Again, Gene did not cut the feet
I did
off. That
not
is
cut
that
the
is
feet off.
Zoom.
I wouldn't.
Gene,
Can you imagine if
we're
I cut Randy Johnson's feet off? I would
no,
never do.
we're gonna ruin it. People are gonna be like, oh my God, Gene Fruth always cuts the feet off. What?
Yeah, yeah, that's what she's known for.
And cars on covers and cut off feet. That's the next series, cut off feet.
Yeah. No, the feet are there. I can't prove that one as easily, but I have it somewhere. It doesn't matter. I didn't cut the feet
I
off.
will. Let's see.
Oh, look
There we
at
go. There we go. I had to do it. I'm like, you know what? They're
that.
gonna think it's some like conspiracy.
Yeah. So
There
yeah,
it
it's
is.
a favorite of mine because I was shooting for the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I was doing portraits a few years in a row. We're doing portraits of all the Hall of Famers. And it was, this is boring. We're in a room with lights. They could be anywhere. Like there was no sense of place. It was just, a photo room, and, it was lit nicely and a nice, pretty backdrop. They were nice portraits. But after a while, it was like, okay, yeah, okay, that's Hank Aaron, and that's cool. I'm glad I made those pictures. But can we do something different? And, it was Hall of Fame weekend, and we did this whole series of sense of place we had a diner, the Cooperstown Diner, which is, I mean, Cooperstown's a town of 1,500 people with one traffic light. And then when a Hall of Famer gets inducted, there's, whatever, I don't know how many people, I should know, but it's a whole different place. But being able to show a sense of place, and we did this whole series of portraits, Cal Ripken in the plaque gallery, Randy Johnson, there he is, larger than life, literally and figuratively, on the street of Main Street, in Cooperstown. And it just became an absolute favorite of mine of doing this whole series. And this was the favorite out of the series too, is this, making this picture of him and, in the Diamondbacks uniform and having to do it really early in the morning, as you can imagine, like it would attract some attention. So having nobody on the street and having this moment during Hall of Fame, like, how did you make that picture? Where is everybody? Well, it was thanks to Randy being willing to get up that early in the morning to make it. So it was fun planning it out. And again, it's a lot of planning of, we had one at the Cooperstown Diner, we had Wade Boggs fishing,
That's
and he caught a
awesome.
fish, which was really cool. So, and because the lake is a big deal there. And so it was all sense of place, like every picture, okay, I'm in Cooperstown, or, where is it? Most likely in Cooperstown. So,
That's
and
so
that was
cool.
fun. So that's how we end.
Was there any gear talk with Randy? Was he into
Oh,
photography at the moment?
yeah, he's always been into photography.
Really?
The
Okay.
Dodgers photographer John Suhu was a teacher of his, I believe, when he was in school.
No
So
way.
he was very much into photography for a long, and Ken Griffey Jr., the same thing. I mean,
Really?
oh yeah, he's a
No
Sony
way.
shooter. And he's yeah, amazing photographer. I think he was at no, it wasn't at Build, but he was at a Sony event recently. He gets all the gear fast. He loves the gear too. Like as soon as like, when the A1 came out, he sent me a picture, like, got it. I'm like, yeah, I got mine too. But like sometimes he gets it faster than me. He loves it. It's fun. It's fun to see these athletes like, and but Randy's, I mean, his work is beautiful, but he doesn't shoot sports. I don't think the stuff that he's doing and all the safari stuff is pretty amazing. It's
Yeah, it
cool.
is. It
Yeah.
is cool seeing the players take an interest in it. I've seen like Jazz Chisholm running around with like a Sony Handycam, which I think is like
John
awesome.
Minaya on the Mets, great shooter, shoots so
Really?
yeah, terrific shooter. I mean, he's still playing, so he's got
Mhm.
to like you got to make a choice. So he's got
I
to stay
gotta I gotta
a
decide.
baseball player to coach for a while, but Sean, it wouldn't surprise me if he becomes a photographer when he's done playing baseball.
I
Yeah.
love it. We did something with Soriano a couple of years. I think it was back in like 2019, I want to say.
Yeah.
Maria and Jake from the video team did something. So we had of course it was like, everybody wanted to be on that, in that interview and went down. It was actually the same field that I was just telling you about that I play. It was at DeWitt Clinton Park over on 54th and
Oh,
11th. Did
yeah,
something
yeah.
with him over there, and he had, he's a Sony shooter as well. So it was cool. It's just cool to see them in our world,
Yeah. And
and see
how much
them
they
interested.
love it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
somebody says there's a lot of players who are interested in it. Like, they'll grab my camera like while I'm shooting and want to shoot. And I mean, Sean Mania always grabs the camera, like and wants to be shooting. He has a passion for it and absolutely loves it. And Didi Gregorius too. He was I'm
Mhm.
sure he's still shooting. I've lost track of what he's doing now, but it wouldn't surprise me. His whole family they're from Curacao. They're all artists, and so it
Mhm.
doesn't surprise me that he went into photography as well. Or he was doing it while he was playing as well.
Yeah.
So
Wait, did I say, you know what? It was Gregor. Why did I say Soriano? I
he
don't know why I
did.
said Soriano. Yes, I did say
Oh, was
Soriano.
it
Yeah, it was
Didi?
D.
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah.
Didi.
Didi. Yeah,
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 it was Didi.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
What you said Didi, and I'm like, wait, no, I goofed. I said Soriano. No, it definitely wasn't. Soriano wasn't. No, it was Didi. It was Didi
Yeah,
while he was still with the Yankees. It was right before the Yankees traded him, right before he
he's
left.
so
So
photogenic. Oh, that smile he
he was
has.
super, super cool and down to earth and just very, very humble. It's like playing for the Yankees and he was just regular guy.
There's, I think, 15 major leaguers from that little island he's from, Curacao, across
Curacao.
the
That's
way.
another one from Little League World Series. They're
Right.
always
Yeah,
they're always
that's
popping
right.
up.
Yeah, right. Profar is from there, and Henley Mu Hen
Hensley Mullins.
and yep, Bam Bam.
Mhm.
He's the first. He was the first major leaguer from Curacao. Played for you.
Interesting.
Played for your Yankees.
Interesting. Definitely remember that was back in the back before the good age. That was in the dark ages when I was growing up, and it was like all those guys. I have such an attachment to those teams, and then the dynasty came along, and it was like it wiped out. Yeah, every once in a while, I'll see like a Pat Kelly or a name
Yeah.
like that pop up, and I'm like, wow, I forgot about those years, the Mattingly years.
The Mattingly years.
The
Yeah.
Mattingly years,
Yeah.
those were great. I
Yeah.
just realized I never asked you who was your all-time favorite player.
Mm, yeah. I
Is there
mean,
one that stands out?
just I guess just relationships that I have. Like Johnny Bench has always been pretty incredible to me. Just the relationships like at the Hall of Fame, like those guys, Ricky Henderson, like
Hmm.
always loved him. Just be willing to do projects and shoot with them. And so Johnny's a photographer. Maria got Johnny a
No
camera.
way.
Yeah. I
No
mean, she bought
way.
it. But yeah. I bought him a camera. I was on my way to Hall of Fame. I went to B&H and had to pick him up a camera. His camera was in storage or something. He wanted a new one. But yeah, he loves shooting.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
so cool. Gene, always good having you on. I know we're gonna have you back October 15th, I think it
Yeah,
is, but always welcome here whenever. It's like this is like my one I get to have an excuse to just come on and talk baseball during work hours. So thank
it's
you for
great.
that.
Yeah. Oh no, thank you. This is nice. It just brought everything nice and relaxed. Yeah.
I know, and
They
now,
love
and now I'm over here. I'm like, man, do I retire from coaching and take?
you have a
I would take some great pictures. I mean, I'm studying under a legend right here, so you're getting me all set up
have
for it.
Ira go with you. He's right in town. You guys go together and shoot the
He
game.
still? I feel like I saw him at the last Yankee game I went to. We went over to the terrace. Next season, we got to get all three of us. We were hanging out in the terrace, and he's on his way somewhere. I can't keep up with him.
Always, yeah, I'm sure he's doing something amazing, and we'll see on Instagram. These great pictures will pop up.
I'm
He'll,
off social media now, so now I can't even pop on his Instagram and see where
oh,
he is.
you're
So he's
gonna keep
always
track of
somewhere.
him. All right, well, I'll send you an email. I'll tell you. I'll text you when I know where he is.
There
We'll
you go.
find.
Let's put an air tag on him.
I don't think he'll allow it.
Oh, Gene, always great having you on. I
Yeah, thank you.
never want to leave. I just want to stay on here and chat. So huge thank you to you once again. We'll see you in just under a month. Congrats on everything you have coming out in the coming month, and all the hard work is definitely paying off. And I'm sure you'll keep us up on it, and we'll send that knowledge over to the viewers so everybody can support and buy the book when it comes out. So huge thank you to Jean Fruth once again for joining us on the platform. We did drop a link. She did an awesome series with Maria from our team here at B&H over on the YouTube channel. We dropped that link, so if you guys haven't checked it out, please do check that out. But that is it. It's off to coach for me and line up some more shots to talk about next time with Gene. Until then, another edition of the B&H Event Space now in the books. Catch y'all next time.